This is all for today's video. I hope it's been helpful. See you next time. What's up everyone, this is Adam. In today's video, I'm gonna share with you how I studied for the SAT test without prior knowledge and got a 1530 on my first try. I think it's gonna be helpful for both beginners and those who have already taken the test. It might sound unbelievable, but my methods were simple and straightforward, and they worked for me. So let's break it down, starting with the reading section. When I first encountered the SAT, I took practice test 1 on the Blue Book app and scored 630 in reading. By the actual exam, I raised it to 740. The benefit of doing so is that I got a clear sense of how the SAT is structured and what type of questions are asked. After my first test, I created a Google form and tracked every question I encountered. At first, I struggled with many question types, so I used Khan Academy's resources to improve. For example, their approach to textual evidence question. Step 1, identify the argument. Step 2, create a test phrase. And step 3, test the choices. This 3-step procedure for this type of question was totally a game changer for me. While College Board now offers a polished test report breaking down your performances into the 4 categories for each section, I found that my own method of tracking each question in detail worked the best. This was especially useful as I approached the higher score range, like when I hit 700. Often, it's just a small skill that's holding you back. I will show you exactly how I came up with all the question types and difficulty for a form like this. So after you finish your practice test, you will come to this My Practice page. Click on Practice on Khan Academy. What I normally do is to go over the test again without a time limit to see if I could get each question right. If I got it right both times, I consider it an easy question. If I got it wrong during the test but right in review, or vice versa, then it is a medium question, usually due to carelessness. If I got it wrong both times, it's definitely a hard question, for me personally, of course, not by College Board standards. So in the end, after the review, your form will look like this. I will send a copy so you don't have to enter all the categories and colorize them by yourself. When using the question bank for practices, I make sure to tick exclude active questions so that the future practice test will reflect my true ability. After each practice test, I will focus on 2 of my weakest areas and do 10 to 20 questions each. The most helpful tip I can give you in terms of reading is to start from the grammar question. Information and idea questions, on the other hand, are the most time-consuming, so doing the easy ones first ensures you don't miss out on points. By the way, the SAT uses something called item response theory for scoring. In simple terms, easier questions impact your score more than the harder ones. So don't underestimate the importance of the easier questions in the later half of your question set. Moving on to math, my first practice score was 660, but I eventually scored 790 on the actual exam. Since I already have a background in computer science, the math content itself wasn't too difficult for me. Most of it was just reviewing concepts I already knew. The real key for me was learning how to solve problems quickly, and this is where Desmos came in handy. Whether I was taking practice tests at home or the real thing, I relied solely on Desmos and some scratch paper and made solving problems so much faster. It is especially helpful when it comes to table questions or graph question where they want you to estimate the expression of the function. Also systems of equations, parallel lines, inequalities, and the stats functions. While I only studied for 1 month, my previous educational background gave me certain advantages. For instance, I didn't need to spend time memorizing vocabulary, and I only encountered a few rare words that I didn't know. So it turned out to me, being a non-native English speaker was less of a disadvantage than I expected. For the math section, I already covered most of the concepts through my schooling in Asia, which gave me an edge. If I had truly started from scratch, I don't think I could have reached 1,000 in just 1 month, let alone 1530. Everyone's starting point is different, so don't feel discouraged if you see high scores online. Focus on learning at your own pace and making sure you're learning effectively. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. I also offer SAT tutoring. If you're interested in working with me, you can reach out to my profile.